All right, good day, everybody. It's May the 15th, the year 2017. We got 3 legal motions that came in from Schuyler Barbeau today. We've already read one. We're going to read the second one now. I'm going to repeat what I said earlier. If you don't do anything at all from watching these videos, I pray you take an envelope, a stamp, and a pen and a paper and write Schuyler Barbeau a letter and let him know that we have not forgotten about him. We appreciate him standing up for our freedoms, the Constitution, and the Second Amendment. Also, this page here, Schuyler Barbeau, will be in the description section, and you can read about Schuyler Barbeau and what has happened to him and details of his case in these 6 articles on Gary Hunt's webpage, as well as these letters from Schuyler Barbeau himself. And so I pray you do take the time to read about Schuyler Barbeau. He is a true American patriot. He was in the Marines for 4 years, if I'm not mistaken, and 4 years in the National Guard. He has served honorably our country, and he needs us. He's got a trial coming up on June the 5th. But his second letter did come in. Let's read it. I have not read it, so we're going to be reading it together. This is the envelope, and this is going to be 6 pages. United States District Court, District of Washington, in the matter of United States of America, plaintiff versus Schuyler P. Barbeau, defendant. Case number CR15-391RAJ, Richard A. Jones, I believe. Petition for redress of grievances. Comes now Schuyler P. Barbeau on my own behalf to petition this court for redress of grievances. I was appointed Walter Peale, a private attorney off of the CGA panel in April of 2016. He came in to see me the first time to introduce to me as, let me read that again. He came in to see me the first time to introduce himself to me as my new counsel and to discuss a couple of things about my case. The visit was very short, maybe less than 45 minutes. The next time Mr. Peale came to see me was also very short, to have me sign a speedy trial waiver. During one of these first 2 visits, Mr. Peale explained to me that he had several state trial cases that were going to keep his schedule full through and until the end of June and possibly into July. He also had told me that he didn't have much experience with the area of federal law on firearms. I told him that was all right because I had been studying it quite extensively and I would show him what I knew and that we had plenty of time to get my case figured out. So I waited patiently until the end of June and begun calling Mr. Peale. He told me the trials were taking longer than expected and needed a few more weeks. After a few more weeks into July, I started calling again urgently requesting that Mr. Peale come to see me because I had found some things in the law and had cases to show him. I also had a great number of questions building up and issues to discuss so that I could move forward in my legal research. I basically hit a roadblock in my research and needed counsel to work out a path in which I would pursue. Mr. Peale finally came in to visit in August for less than 2 hours. I was able to show him some of the research I was doing and explain some laws and cases I found. Mr. Peale told me that my analysis of the law was correct, but that he would need to read it all himself before he could say my legal theory in its whole was correct. I also told him during that meeting that I needed to see him at least once a week from then on till trial because I had a lot of questions about everything, and there was going to be a great number of things to discuss, not just the law itself, which is substantial and complex, but also all the rest of federal criminal procedure, rules of evidence, jury selection and voir dire, and trial procedure. Mr. Peale told me that he would mostly be able to come in on weekends until his other trials were over. I tried to convey to him my sense of urgency since we were a month and a half past the time he said he would be available to me. I saw him next at the end of September or maybe beginning of October, I believe, for another short visit, less than an hour and a half. We discussed a couple of different things, but didn't really work on my case. During the meeting, while trying to display my sense of urgency, I told Mr. Peale again that I really needed to see him at least once a week until trial because we still had a lot of work to do and pretrial motions to put together before the motion filing deadline. At this meeting, and maybe the August meeting, I asked Mr. Peale about filing several motions, but he would only ask me what they have to do with the facts of my case and then gave me a runaround excuse about ethics and his minimum obligations to me in the court. This was unacceptable to me and frustrated me greatly because I was receiving inadequate, ineffective counsel that I had been needing for at least 11 months. At the end of the September-October meeting, I reminded Mr. Peale of what he said during the previous meeting about needing to read the law for himself and saying that my analysis of it being correct. To which he responded, yes. I asked him again what he thought about my legal theory, and he said he thinks I have a valid argument. Then he had to leave. Now at this point, my legal theory has to do with the laws not applying to my private activities and question the law itself and how... I lost my spot. There it is. And question the law itself and how it is applied to me, which are issues that must be raised pre-trial and are part of a motion to dismiss that I have been waiting for and have been wanting to draft together with Mr. Peale. These very important issues I want to raise are what I have been asking Mr. Peale to help me raise in pretrial motions, but is refusing. He also told me in that meeting regarding the motions I want to file and the issues I want to raise are not things he has to do for me, and that my case is really simple to him because he only has to deal with the facts of my case. The most important part of my case are the issues of the law, which must be raised pre-trial. There was one more short meeting in October, but I don't remember when, and we only went around and round on the issues I was having with him and his inadequate counsel. Then I saw him there at the courthouse for 10 minutes before my hearing to continue my trial date recently. I tried to raise my issues with him again about not getting visits and not getting any work done on my case and not filing any of the motions I've asked him to file. Mr. Peale told me that if you were to have paid me $100,000, I'd be more inclined to do the things you ask. Let me read that again because I'm over 50 years old, and I've said this many times, but I've never met one lawyer in my whole life that I get along with, nor I have any respect for. I simply have not. If you guys have, that's maybe your own life experience, but I simply don't like lawyers. When I read this, what Mr. Barbeau just read about Mr. Peale, I become very angry, actually. Let me read that again. Mr. Peale told me that if you were to have paid me $100,000, I'd be more inclined to do the things you ask. This was totally unacceptable to me. What he said tells me that he's only interested in the money. He doesn't care about my freedom, and that only the wealthy have access to adequate, effective, and vigorous representation. His statement to me was the last straw for me, and after a couple of weeks of thinking about it and continuing not to get any counsel, I asked Mr. Peale by email to withdraw from my case. After a week, he responded that he would file a motion to withdraw on December 1st, which is the motion filing deadline. This is unacceptable to me because I need counsel now and are not getting any. I have been needing counsel for the last 6 months and have not been getting the counsel I need for the pretrial issues I need to raise. I have asked him many times, including in emails, what his problem is, and I only get no answer, or some excuse about health, other cases, or that he doesn't have to do anything I ask. I'm at my wit's end with Mr. Peale and have no more patience to give him more chances to continuously let me down. I began communicating only by email in September to create a record of communication, and because I was only able to reach Mr. Peale on the phone less than 10% of the time. At this time, he has filed no motions. He has not shown me any work that he has been working on, and has only said that he is working on my request, but that was only after I asked him to withdraw from my case. It appears that since I asked him to withdraw 2 weeks ago, now he wants to get to work because he doesn't want a bad mark on his career. For redress, I would like this court to remove Mr. Peale from my case as soon as possible, appoint a new and more effective counselor to my case, and continue my trial date a few months so the new counselor can learn my case and so we can begin the work that I was supposed to begin at least 6 months ago. Dated the 23rd day of November 2016. Respectfully submitted, Schuyler P. Barbeau. All right. You know, I wish I could say this is surprising to me, but these lawyers being so bad is not a surprise to me. I've never met a lawyer that I like in my entire life. And the bottom line is that we don't need to abandon our brother. That's his address on the screen. I pray you guys write him a letter, and also I pray you guys read the letters that he's written. God bless everyone in.